Section 4.2, writing equations in slope-intercept form. Essential question. How do you write a slope-intercept equation for a line when you know 2 points on the line? Well, for this lesson, we're going to need to use our slope formula, which is m equals, remember that m represents the slope, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we're going to use that formula on each of the problems in this lesson. All right, first one. Write an equation in slope-intercept form given 2 points. Now normally we're given different information and we have to figure out which formula we can put it in based off of the information we know. So right now we use two main formulas. We use slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, and we use point slope form, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So, we've got to look at what we're given. If I want to use slope-intercept form, I need to have a slope and an intercept, which I don't have either of those things right now. I have 2 points. I don't know the slope, I don't know the intercept. If I want to use point slope form, I need a point and a slope. Well, I have one of those things. I have a point. I actually have 2 of them. So since I have a point, I do have part of point slope form. So that is the form you're going to want to use. We're going to want to use point slope form to start. What we don't know yet is the slope. So we're going to use the slope formula, which we just wrote down on the last slide in the vocab, to find our slope. So first of all, I'm going to label my coordinates, x1, y1, x2, y2. And I'm going to plug them into my slope formula. So my slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So 1 minus 5 is negative 4. 3 plus 3 is 6. If I simplify that, I'd get negative 2/3. So my slope is negative 2/3. So now I have a point, and now I have my slope. So I have both things that I need for point slope form. So now to put it in point slope form, I actually have 2 coordinate points and I only need 1. So I'm just going to pick one of these 2 points to use. You either have to pick negative 3, 5 or 3, 1. You can't break apart the points and take one number from each. You have to pick only one. I always like choosing one with positives. So I'm going to pick the 3, 1. So I'm going to use a slope of negative 2/3 and a point of 3, 1 to put my equation in point slope form. So point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So I'll replace my slope with negative 2/3. I'll replace my x1 with my x coordinate, which is 3, and my y1 with my y coordinate, which is 1. All right, so now I've done 2 steps. This is kind of like a 3-step problem. I started out by finding my slope. That was step 1. Step 2 was putting it into point slope form. And then I'm going to go right on to step 3, which is now getting it into slope-intercept form, because that's what the problem wants me to do, is get the problem into slope-intercept form. So I'll draw my train tracks and distribute. Negative 2/3 times x is negative 2/3 x. And then negative 2/3 times negative 3, or negative 3 over 1, will give me 6 over 3, which is 2. Bring down my y minus 1 and add 1 on both sides. So there was step 3. So once again, I found my slope, I wrote it in point slope form, and I got it into slope intercept form. So a lot of work for one problem, but that is how you get the equation into slope intercept form. All right, let's try another one of those. So again, we're going to write the equation in slope intercept form, and we're given 2 points. So I am going to write down our slope intercept equation again. So y equals mx plus b. And I'm going to write down the point slope equation. Okay, so let's look at what I'm given. I am given 2 coordinate points. So if I am given points, the only formula where I see the word point written is this one. So that is where I want to start, point slope form. I have a point, I don't have a slope, so I can find the slope because I have 2 coordinates. So label them x1, y1, x2, y2. My formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So 4 plus 4 is 8, 3 plus 1 is 4, 8 divided by 4 is 2. That right there is my slope. Okay, so now I know my slope is 2, and then if I pick an ordered pair to use, because I also need to use one of my points, so I have my slope. So I'm going to take my slope of 2 and my point, and I'm going to choose this one since it's all positives. And I'm going to put it in point slope form. So I did step 1, find my slope. Now I'm going to do step 2, put it in point slope form. So point slope form would be y minus 4 equals 2 times x minus 1. Then my problem wants me to get my answer into slope intercept form, so I'm going to draw my train tracks and distribute. So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. And then I'll add 4 on both sides. So y equals 2x plus 2. So that right there is my slope-intercept equation, which is the third thing and final thing that I needed to do to get to my answer. So y equals 2x plus 2 is my answer. Now I want to spend a minute and explain to you what that means. If I graphed the equation y equals 2x plus 2, it should go through the coordinate points negative 3, 4, and 1, 4. So I'm going to do that really quick on this one now that we've done a couple examples and I can explain the meaning. So if I graph 2x plus 2, alright, so I've got a bunch of lines. They're not exactly perfect, or points are not exactly perfect, but they're close. Okay, so my line needs to go through the point negative 3, 4. Negative 3, negative 4. Let's see if it did. Negative 3, negative 4. Again, my graph isn't exact, but yes, it goes through that point. And let's see if it goes through the point 1, 4. Yes, it does. So I know that my line is right because it goes through those 2 points that it needed to. All right, third one. So again, reminder of slope-intercept form. So y equals mx plus b and point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. All right, so I have to look at what I'm given in the problem. I'm given 2 coordinate points, so I should go to my point slope formula. I have a point, I need a slope, so I know how to find the slope with these 2 points. Label them. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. 8 over negative 4 is negative 2. That is my slope. So I've done step 1, find my slope, and now I have both things that I need in order to be able to write my equation. So we said our slope is negative 2. The point I'm going to use, this time both of my points have negative numbers, so really it doesn't matter which one you pick. On any problem, you can always pick either point. You're going to end up with the same answer. I'll pick this one just because it has smaller numbers. But again, it doesn't matter. So 2, negative 1. So I'll write my equation in point slope form. So y minus a negative 1 equals negative 2 times x minus 2. So that is step 2, writing my equation in point slope form. And then I need to do my final step, which is getting it into slope-intercept form. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. Get y alone by subtracting 1 on both sides. Y equals negative 2x plus 3. My line is in slope-intercept form, which is what the question was asking for. Now, if I took the time to graph this, my line should go through the coordinate points 2, negative 1, and negative 2, 7. Summary.